everybody, today's day one of DIY Dollar Tree Impossibly Easy Christmas decor items and craft items. We're going to make farmhouse bells. We're going to use two of these individual plastic bells that sort of have like ringers on them. We're going to use a bolt of the black and white checked fabric. I'm also going to use a clip-on pick. But that's optional, and we're going to use some paint. So first thing I want to tell you really quick while I am removing these stems, what you want to do is you want to push the garland. That's like one of those pieces of garland that we use all the time. Garland ties, excuse me. You want to push them into the bell so you can untwist them. That's how the first one came out. The second one, on the other hand, it kind of spun inside. The twisted knot was not tucked inside the bell. It was basically on the outside. So just find where it's twisted together, and then you just untwist it and you can release it. The little berries and ribbon are on sort of a little twist tie, so you just find the ends of that, untwist it. You could cut it, but I don't like to waste things. So here I am thinking 2 ties. That's pretty good. I'm going to use 2 colors of paint that most people may or may not have. I'm going to use the Plaid's I think it's Folk Arts chalk paint in Castle, and then I'm going to use the same Folk Art in Antique Silver to create sort of that aged bell, galvanized looking steel sort of feel. I'm going to add little bit of touches of white and touches of black, but most people have that. And I'm going to use it all with a foam, like a regular sponge brush, so you don't have to get any fancy equipment or anything like that. So these bells come in all different textures and all different colors. I purposefully picked these two because I kind of felt like they just spoke a little bit more traditional bell in my eyes, but everybody's got their own vision. Now I am using this Dollar Tree fabric. A lot of people haven't been able to find it, but you could use pieces of scarf. You could use any ribbon, really. We're going to make a bow with it, but I'm going to show you how to make a bow with just fabric, which is going to come out. I think it came out really cute. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just coating this both of the outsides of these bells with the Castle. I'm not worried about the inside because if these were actually metal bells, there's a good chance that they would weather more on the outside than the inside. So I'm not really worried about it too much. But if that bothers you, go ahead. And if you live in an area where you could spray paint this time of year, I would highly recommend giving them a coat of spray paint. It would make it much, much easier. But this works really well. I don't know if you noticed me add a little water to my chalk paint. It starts to get a little thick, but you don't want to add too much because you don't want it to be watered down. And then it'll beat up, and that's not good either. Just gave 2 quick coats, set it off the side. About 30 minutes it took to dry. And now, if you could see the metal still coming through, I did not do a thick coat. I want that metallic gold feel to come through. That's another thing that's just going to enhance another layer of color, of texture, and I think it really adds something. So now I'm taking that antique silver, actually I think it's antique pewter. I think it's antique silver, and I'm just dabbing it on. The trick to dabbing on to get that mottled look is you want to constantly keep your brush in motion, not only twisting it left and right, but also going from like the corners to the edge to the flat, so move your hand a lot while you're doing this. This way you don't create a pattern. You want to keep it constantly on the move. Don't forget to get around that curved part of the bell, and you can do the edge if you want to, the edge that sits on it. And again, you can do the inside if you want to as well. I just chose not to. So we're just going to set the one off that, I guess, while the first one is, while you're painting the second one, the first one will dry enough. That's what I'm trying to say. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a wipe. You could use a tissue or whatever. I like the way that the wipe kind of creates a paint on and paint off at the same time kind of feel. It doesn't make it too dark. And I've just crumpled it so it has like all different texture. I added a tiny bit of the black paint, and I'm just going all over. What I like to do is I like to put it on basically go around the bell one time. And then on my second pass around the bell, some of the paint will have held on a little bit, some will be able to be removed, and you kind of can get that variation. That's sort of really what we're looking for. We're looking for it to look weathered and aged, sort of galvanized and gone, like that kind of thing. And now we're going to repeat the same thing with white. Again, I did bell A with the base coat, bell B with the base coat, went right into bell A with the black, right into bell B with the black, right into bell A with the white, and right into bell B back with the white. And you just keep going until you get the look that you're like. And again, we set these aside to dry. I wrap my sponge brush in a wipe. I don't use a water cup by work surface. So I set them off to dry, and then once they were dry, we're going to go ahead and work on the bow. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting strips of this fabric. Actually, I'm ripping strips of this fabric. I do like that very farmhouse feel that you get from a ripped fabric. It's a little towards the primitive, a little bit more towards the country. And the first thing I want to do is just cut one strip. If you're using this fabric, I started halfway down the middle of a black row and halfway down a middle of the black row on both edges. And it's got one solid black row in the middle. So what I'm first doing is just tying the bells together. And I'm showing you can just stop here. You can very easily just tie this little bow with this ribbon and just, if this is the look that you're after, and it could be done for less than, $2.50. But we're not going to do that. So what I've done is I tied them together. You want the side that you like the best to face out towards you, and then we're going to attach a bow to it. So how I'm going to make the bow is I'm going to just rip 3 more strips of that fabric, the same exact length, and I'm going to loop it back over just like when we made our non-wire edged bow. Again, this isn't a big fluffy bow. It is going to have a couple of layers and have some dimension, but it's not going to be one of these big fluffy bows that you see at the florist or whatever, because this is fabric. It's not ribbon, and it's not wire edged ribbon. It doesn't really have any body. Now, back in the day, back in the 80s, we used to stiffen fabric and make fabric bows all the time because bows weren't really as available in a wide range of prices. Let's put it that way. Let me put it that nice way. Back in the 80s, we didn't have a lot of cheap choices. How's that? Okay, great. That's a nice way of saying it. So I basically laid the 3 layers of the same size loops on top of each other, and then took the existing pieces of tails that were on there tying the bells together, and I used that to tie around the center of the bow. I did it from the back, so I basically took the one long loop, the one long tail, wrapped it around, and then brought it to the back and tied it in the back. And then you can move it around, you could fluff it, you could fix it how you want. I ended up cutting off a little bit of the extra pieces that were sticking out because this isn't a homespun fabric. This fabric is printed on one side, so it doesn't have that check on the inside. So that's why we have to do this bow this way. And I just wanted to make it simple and pretty and, So I found this pick. I did want to add something to it. I knew I wanted to add some greenery, but I wanted to keep it at budget level. So it would be just $2, $3 with the bow, and then maybe another $1. This entire week, I think the most expensive thing is everything is under $5 this week. And we got a lot of good things coming for you. So this pick had a white pine cone, a silver bell, some silver berries, and the silver bell and berries were just a little too bright for the antique we just made, but I loved the white pine cone. So I basically removed the silver parts, took off the clip, and then it fell apart. So I glued the pine cone with its remaining holly berries to the center of the bow, and then added the 2 pine picks on both sides that fell off, okay? So now we're going to take it to the next level, and we're just going to take 2 mini ornaments. These come in a very long sleeve of about 20 ornaments that you get at the Dollar Tree for $1. And I went ahead and I just took 2 of them out. These are sort of an already frosted silver, so I felt like I just wanted to leave them that way. I tied 2 pieces of jute, 1 on each. Tried to keep them measured about the same. I held in my hand and figured out where I was going to tie the knot. And then I wanted to make sure that they were long enough to hang down, but so that you could see them, but not so long that you'd see the string, because they're kind of supposed to be clangers. But again, this is just totally another optional step just to add a touch of dimension. And with the cost of these being about 10 cents, maybe say 20 cents, we're still way under $4. So, because we didn't use all our fabric. Okay. And then I'm also going to take a tiny piece of that jute and I'm going to make a hanger. You could hang this from the bow, but whenever you hang stuff from a bow, sometimes it twists the bow around. So I just find it always easier to glue one of those little nooses just to the back of the bow that we're working on. So to glue these clangers inside, you want to be very careful. I got a really bad burn today, and not from this, but from another project. Hot glue is no joke. So even with the protectors on my finger, I didn't use, even though I bought the protectors, I didn't have them on my fingers. I think I will from now on. But basically what I did was I put the hot glue down into the part that sticks up and just glued the knot into it, held it on with the rubber spatula. Thanks, Melody Reed, for giving me this idea and also giving me the spatula. And then you're going to repeat with the other bell, and then, like I said, glue on that little noose, and then that's all done. But make sure the noose is nice and cooled off. You want to make sure that your glue is really cool before you go to the next step so things don't fall apart on you. Okay? And that's it. I love this. Oh my God, I love the way they came out. So darling. If you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to share with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in either learning how to make exactly this or any of the techniques. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And we're going to have another video every day this week except Thursday. Thursday we have a special video coming up. So you want to make sure you have all notifications set because you won't want to miss it. As always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.